Hey guys, XJ9 here, and today's gonna be a video about the roadmap check in May, and pretty much there's gonna be a bunch of boss table common drop nerf and some rare drop rate buff. So they're pretty much saying, oh yep, Amazon's gonna come out soon, blah blah blah, right? So pretty much the game. One key highlight is our upcoming game health update, which will introduce balance changes to Elder God Wars bosses drop tables. These tweaks aim to reduce their overall impact on the in-game economy and take an important step to protect the long-term economy of the game. What are these changes, we wonder? I also say like there's also augmented rune crafting thieving, guys. We already know about this. I don't really, no one cares about this right now. No one's talking about it. So they talk about when we first began exploring an update focused specifically on profitability. We took a step back to evaluate the broader state of RuneScape's economy. So first off, they're talking about when we first. So with this statement, they're talking about. I believe people they want to do an update where they make scaling more profitable because on a survey people wanted to see that. And to make scaling more profitable, you have to tone down PVM because everyone always says, even me, why skill when you can just PVM? Why do AFK scaling when you can AFK PVM? Like, it's kind of funny because like PVM is supposed to be more effort, even though it's so AFK a lot of the times. Um, while we're always keeping an eye on the ebb and flow of wealth generation across the game, one trend has become increasingly clear: the Elder God Wars bosses are a significantly outlier, particularly when it comes to their common loopholes. Their consistent value has raised the bar for bossing revenue, and as a result, we'll be making targeted adjustments to some of these loot tables on mid to. And it's true, a boss like Zamorak drops 10 mil, 12 mil, right? Or even like 6 mil if you're a noob. And meanwhile, you do like a Sanctum Rebirth run, and it's like, wow, 600k, 2 mil. And it's like, that's fine because the unique is 2 bill, you know? But people don't get that. And I just think it's so like negative, honestly. And it's like, does that kind of like show there's an issue with the game? I like it when bosses don't drop a lot of resources. That's how the game should be. We know that economic changes are like this aren't always welcome news. Uh, I don't know why they should get used to it, and Jack should have a straight spine and be like, "No, we're doing this," but they never have. Very like I'll get to that later. But these kind of updates are vital for the long-term health and sustainability of the game. Why did it take this long then? I've complained about Arc Lake or normal mode for ages. I even thought Arc Lake or horde mode was a little bit good on release, but we just buffed hard mode and never changed normal mode. Normal mode farming charms and such. We're focused on creating a balanced, rewarding experience for everyone, and that means addressing areas where systems are no longer functioning as intended. As intended, by the way. We will list all these changes ahead of the launch, but we could give it a general idea of what is impacted. Um, so they might give like specific tunings, but perhaps, but we'll see. Um, Ongoing balance efforts. This is not a one-time change, but part of a continuous initiative. We're actively assessing the economic impact of various systems and making adjustments to support long-term sustainability and overall game health. I would take this with a grain of salt because they say this all the time. There's like how they say on stream, like Mod Sponge, he's like, "Oh, what if necromancy can team up with a mage and make a fire conjure?" Like that never happened. Like these are kind of like those grain of salt things where it's like, I mean, okay, but I only believe in results, not oh yeah, we will do that eventually. Like the all these like fracture stuff, armor changes up. That was like a year ago, never happened. It's so surprised that nerfs are really welcome. Well, they actually are welcome, but only if it benefits the player. And even nerfs like this actually do benefit the player somewhat, but the people always look at it as a negative for some reason. Like if you nerf the drop table of loot, they complain, but we want to like when they wanted to buff the Gamor pages to be a 100% drop, instead of a chance to drop, people said no. So it's like it's how can you say no and then yes on certain things? I think it's kind of funny because people don't understand economics, especially in a game where it's super easy to understand the economics of a game. And we're historically been cautious about making direct changes. However, this can lead to challenges when intervention is needed. When intervention is needed. Despite the belated short-term discomfort, we believe these adjustments are crucial for long-term health and well-being of the game. So I will say right up back, guys, they're nerfing bosses like Carapace, but I will say if they actually do these changes, I guarantee you Carapace will be as more profitable than ever, especially once they buff the Fractions of Armor. Zuck's gonna be more profitable than ever, especially when they buff the Zuck sword. What they said it's gonna be meta defining. And then people are just gonna think that people will forget about this in 2 to 3 months. I guarantee you, people will forget about this in 2 to 3 months if these changes happen, because people are humans. They will outrage about the slightest inconvenience. They'll outrage because it's cool to outrage. They want to be the main character. They want to be the hero. That's what people want to be. You know, like it's kind of like they more people need to kind of lay back and just let things happen. Honestly, that really they honestly should. Um, so negative changes will exclusively impact common drops, not rare / unique drops. Negative, they just mean lower quantity. Negative, by the way. So right off the bat, they say some rare drop rates have been buffed slightly. So what some can mean something. What can some mean? Well, it's a good question. I mean, it can just mean maybe only the Wen book is going to be buffed. Maybe the Ling swords from Arclicker are not being buffed. We don't know. It also didn't say all the rare drops. They said some. So we don't know. Maybe it doesn't include Nihilus. Again, we have to see. Maybe if people should have a little bit of faith in Jack. Again, like I don't really care because I'll believe it when I see it. So it's like we'll see. Honestly, we'll see. They say buff the drop rates. Hey, okay, we'll see. And guess what? If community complains, I guarantee they'll change it anyway. So this probably just means they're buffing the drop rates of like all the tier 95 weapons ever so like 5 or 10%, and the Ling, like the Frozen Core or something, maybe the Dark Knights a little bit. In-game inflation has been a long-standing issue. Meanwhile, they make 1 bill treasure hunter promo, by the way. Win 1 bill. Win 1 bill. I will say, I know the big reason they're probably doing this is because AFKing is so easy nowadays. You can AFK pretty much anything. And on top of this, you can kill bosses lightning fast if you're not AFKing or even semi-AFKing. Kill times have gotten so insane due to how much power creeps in the game. Like, Zamorak, if you compare the Zamorak release to now, to how fast he's done, it's actually crazy. It's like 2 to 3, 4 times faster. That's an insane amount of power creep. Largely driven by alchables and common boss drops. Areas we aim to address with these changes: the value of certain items like skilling supplies have been heavily impacted due to the previous balancing decisions. So like dragon stones and like herbs and stuff. These changes aim to curb supply slightly, giving prices a chance to gradually recover. Yep. Yep. It will take. I'm not fully on Jack's side because again, I don't like that they're pretending like they've always been on top of this. Like they never do balance changes. They never do. I would love it. RuneScape would be a really popular game if they did drop balance changes. Like longer fights, harder. Like longer fights, they're harder, but we buff uniques. Great update. Oh, we nerfed players' damage and such, but we buffed the unique trait chances a little bit to compensate for the overall economy for everyone. Great change. But people always think I'm like Mr. Negative for some reason, you know. I'm just ranting because people always say to me, "Oh, but guys, I'll talk about it later." Because I'm honest, this drives me crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, this impact will impact the following bosses: Arc Laker Norm mode. Lower the amount of loot drops when doing less mechanics. Reduce the loot multiplier scaling per mechanics and reduce charm drops. 45 to 60% less value. So this might just be like a 45% less, like from the low end to highest end. So even if you have 2 mechanics on or 5 mechanics or no mechanics, it's going to be a reduction in value. Reduce charm drops. I'm curious if you will still drop the Arc Laker will still drop 5 charms if you do 5 difficulty Arc Laker. I've said this was a problem since day one. Arc Laker normal mode AFKing, and I was laughed at. If someone really wanted me to, I could like. It's just funny because I complained about this so long ago, and I was laughed at. I was like, oh, no, they were like, oh, it's just 2 to 3 mil, bro. Who cares? Meanwhile, you have videos like 60,000 Arc Laker normal mode. You have all the Iron Men saying AFK Arc Laker. I AFK Arc Laker on my free time. Why? Effigies, which are essentially like free treasure hunter keys because you could choose whatever skill you want and set skills. Charms, broken amount of charms every kill. 25 charms a kill, usually crimson and blues. I think it's mostly blue even. Insane. That's a problem, and that's why 200 mil sounding is like looked at so bad. That's why the Dungeoning rewards looked at like, wow, who cares about this piece of crap? Because you can just farm Arc Laker, normal mode, and just AFK and not even do anything. It's cringe. Hard. Reduce the average quantity of common loot drops 10 to 30%. This is essentially a revert of the last Arc Laker hard mode buff the boss has gone in terms of common drops. And that buff was indeed overboard. I don't know why they buffed it by again. So they're supposed to just toning it down. Arc Liquor's always been like a hidden boss that no one talks about. That's like ridiculous GP per hour. Normal Arc Liquor mechanic scaling has been overly generous for a while. It's difficultly for where it's difficulty has ended up. I mean, it's been like that since release, but you guys just never did anything, and people like me have complained since day one, or since the day it was relevant and discovered that Arc Liquor farming 0 to 2 mechanics was OP, but they didn't care. You know, this is just the case of like to me, what this screams is that JetX didn't care. Like they know, but they don't care because they're like, this is fine. Let the players do what they want. Just like with their bosses, with like Bob Robin and people cheesing the last phase slot. Players did it like that, so you know what? They deserve it. Like that's not how an MMO works. That's not how game balance works. You know, it's like finding a broken bill that makes like LeBlanc one shot things because of a weird interaction. You don't go. That's how players do it, and I'm keeping it. You don't do that. Carepec. Normal. Reduce the average quantity of common drops 30 to 35%. That's good because yeah, it's pretty much being AFK'd at this point by a lot of people. You see that's all the videos you see. Hard. Reduce the average quantity of common drops 8 to 10%. This is one of the more surprising drops. I'm surprised they didn't nerf it more because Carapec normal mode actually gives some pretty good loot, especially the cannonballs and stuff. But yeah, I probably because not many people do hard mode solo, which is really profitable. Most people just do trios and AFK it, which is a really garbage GP hour compared to trio in terms of the 3 people's effective time per hour. So that's probably why. Zamorak. Reduce the average quality of common loot drops, probably approx reduction 50 to 60%. Um, so yeah, I'm assuming that includes like relics and such and everything, like literally everything. So instead of getting 10 to 12 mil, you'll only see 5 to 6 mil a kill at 2K in Rage, which is good because I wasn't there for Zamorak when he came out, but I came to try him out a year later. I remember as I kept getting enraged, I'm just like, man, this is a lot of money. This is a lot of money for just doing single kills. But yeah, maybe if I wasn't playing, if I was playing at the time, I would probably would have said something. But I mean, that didn't really matter, right? They put a little note. Zamorak's original drop balancing had always included a full run of the dungeon, and without it, and without it is far more generous than intended. Again, you've been able to do this since day one. Just do 25 kills, then you can just keep on spamming it. Why didn't they do this to begin with? You know, it's just weird. Like, wow, guys, we finally did it after the bulk of the Zamorak kills were done. You know, the 60k in Rage is done. They were making 10 to 12 mil every single kill. Like, that's the thing with Telos. When you're climbing in Rage with Telos, you're not really injecting things besides uniques. Like, it's not really harming the economy so much. But then with Zamorak, all the way from 2k all the way to 60k, all those kills were all 2k kills. So 10 to 12 million. You know how much money that is? Meanwhile, it's like, I honestly don't even think kills beyond 4k or even 2k should have even been so profitable. Like, they really shouldn't have been. It's honestly kind of crazy. Zamorak Undercity, which is the dungeon itself, like doing the whole mobs, the trash mobs. Reduction in salvage quantity. Price reduction 50% specifically on salvage drops. So, very important to note, it's not the Undercity as a whole. They specify it's only the salvage drops. So, everything. So, like, you know, if you get relics or onyx bolts or whatever, you will get the same amount. It's just a salvage drop. So, it isn't 50% less profit from the Undercity. So it's a little bit interesting. So I'm kind of curious if doing the Undercity might be a bit better now to do with Zamorak, like because the Undercity it gives you drops obviously, but then it also increases your drop chance. Would it be worth doing? Probably not. Still, right? Especially with 2K in Rage, but so I've always liked the idea of completing the dungeon run. I also wish Zamorak was just a dungeon run with one difficulty. If I made Zamorak, I would have made 2K in Rage, or even 4K, the set difficulty and call it a day. Maybe just put normal mode and hard mode. That's probably what I would have. Normal mode would have been like 500 in Rage, maybe 300, and hard mode would have just been 4K. Wouldn't that be cool? You do the whole run with 5 people. Imagine if that was what Zamorak was. You balance it. It was 5-man boss. That'd be so cool. Zamrak Undercity, reduction in salvage quantity. Oh, sorry, I read that. Wilderness flash events and reward bags. Reduction in salvage, bones, ashes, magic logs, and big hermal bolt quantities. Magic logs have actually been going up last I saw or checked. And yeah, it's pretty surprising. Not surprising, but like, yeah, those are gonna go bounce up quite a bit now because a lot of people people just do it for the sake of doing it. Like people that have like bills still do wilderness flash events, even though it's like inefficient to do them, which is kind of crazy. I mean, it's actually efficient to do them if you're not maxed into a mill. Replace Decorium salvage with Orculum salvage, so I think that's a nerf. Slightly improved chance for Dark Lord weapons and Brawler gloves. Again, great change. The drop that people are going for, and once they get it, like Iron Man and such, oh, once they get it, they'll stop doing it probably. So no one talks about that though. No one's saying, oh, great change with that. Raksha, replace Spiritweed, Golden Dragon Fruit with Arbok and Siku Seed. I think those are garbage, no? I don't know if those are garbage or not. I'm pretty sure the CQ and Arbok are garbage. Regardless, I mean, whether it's a buff or maybe it's a buff, I don't know. But reduce the average quantity of salvage loot drops. Um, that's good. Reduce the average quantity of common loot drops. So, I mean, honestly, every time I do Raksha, was never really anything anyway. Like, you only do it for the Great Ricochet Codex, really, and Chain. Suck minions. Reduce the average quantity of Onyx Bolt and Salvage drops. And the reason it's Zuck minions is because so many drops come from Zuck himself. Some people also, I believe, do trash Zuck runs where they just literally just kill minions and then just reset their run. That is a thing, but it's not really that popular. But yeah, that's just nice. And that's it. They advertise some stuff. Bloomburrow. Yep, fast-paced throw Kerbo. Yeah, game jam. So that's pretty much it. But I just think it's kind of funny that this community, again, guys, I'm always gonna talk about this, guys. So you know, you can kind of deal with it. Where it's like when I stop playing the game because oh they make rares common, they say oh you're raging too hard, you're overreacting. Then this shit happens, and people have a freaking hissy fit. Like, if you go on the RuneScape Reddit right now, everyone's just crying. No one's being constructive. They're just saying I'm a 50-year-old dad with 5 kids, and I'm like, I go and spend 30 minutes on the game, which is they're probably lying. You know, if you see play this game and you're AFK and shit, oh, don't worry. Now someone will say, oh, you're biased, or oh, what are you talking about? Even though I made a video about me staying in War's Retreat, and the amount of necromancers was like 85%, but apparently it wasn't an eligible consensus because I'm biased, which doesn't make sense because I didn't control who came through the portal. But that's just how crazy people are. So again, to sum it up, uh, these changes are good, but it took way too long. They need to nerf. On top of this, I wouldn't hold my breath with this. Are they actually going to do this? I actually don't. Color me surprised. Whatever they say they won't, they do. So you know what, guys? They're not going to do this because I don't know. It took them this long to do it. So you know why do it now? They need a nerf again. The whole smoke cloud cheese. Every video you watch of PVMing is always people just clicking Lord of Bones, Lord of Bones, Lord of Bones, Surge dive, Surge escape, and then like they do like 5 billion damage. You know that's intended gameplay. You know that's really skillful. Definitely not an exploit. Definitely not something that should be removed. Even though back in 2013 we used to remove stalling wild magic at next, and we used to actually nerf. You know, things such as stalling damage. Because stalling damage is such a broken mechanic and skips mechanics. But all those devs left the game, you know, and we're at the whole let everyone have fun type of game, and we don't care. Uh, Hopefully, maybe the new CEO that joined actually had an impact on this. Maybe I had an impact on this, guys. Maybe the CEO, guys, maybe Jax talks about me still, guys. You know, I still really don't like that. What's we call it? Like again, like I don't like that. Like this is funny, guys. I'm gonna show you guys something funny. But I remember when the whole Gower doesn't shit happened and they nerfed Karapek and buff Zucksword and shit for no reason. Um, the, so many J mods blocked me, which was so funny. Like I'm gonna show you something funny. Like look at this. So you're here. Oh, Bod Ramen. Is Bod Ramen actually blocked? Am I blocked? Oh, I am blocked. Yep, Ramen has blocked you guys. Ramen blocked me because again, guys, don't. I'm not trying to tell you to just do anything to that. I'm just saying stories. Don't harass him or anything. But I'm just saying, like, I was blocked by Ramen because he didn't like that. He said, "Oh, I'm not gonna nerf Carapick," then proceeded to nerf Carapick. Or actually, he actually nerfed Carapick, or was announcing he was gonna nerf Carapick before he said that to me. I'm not sure why this person blocked me. I actually like this person, but they must have blocked me back when the Carapick stuff happened, and Mod Sponge probably told him to block me, or told her to block me or something, like, because Mod Sponge was like, "You should ask Ramen why he blocked you." When Ramen blocked me, then he blocked me. Mod Sponge also he asked for like RuneScape. Oh, can we buff the Safasusuke? How? I said how. I get blocked. And then I'm like, why did I get blocked? Oh, go ask Mod Ramen. Guys, I own 600 Staphylosukes, okay? Dormant ones. They're never going to buff it. They're never going to buff it just to spite me. They hate me so much, they're not going to do something for the better of the game because they don't want me to make fucking GP. GP, bro. It's fucking crazy. Like, guys, I'm not saying do not invest in Safasusuke's. I'm waiting for that announcement where they say we're never buffing the Safasusuke. We're moving on for no reason, even though they buffed other things and gave other things uses. I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for that announcement, guys. I have it, so they just never buff it. Like, I honestly think they do not buff it because they see have the most Safasusuke's in the game. Like, I'm not even joking. I stopped buying them because I'm like, bro, they're never gonna buff this shit. um, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Overall, pretty good. But again, we need the combat exploit fixes, and the game will be better if they do that. Again, like the biggest reason this stuff even became an issue is because of how fast kill speeds are and how strong AF King is. You know, Necromancy is such a big problem. Again, oh, Necromancy is not a problem because range is broken. No, it does. It's somebody's problem. Range is also a problem too, but in its own way. But we like to have arguments like that where it's just like, I'm going to ignore what you said and just say something else, and all of a sudden I beat you in the argument. That's all people say, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to sleep now or something. Bye.